I don't know.
All right, everyone. We are now live. It's the Masculine Geek Random Saturday Rogue broadcast. We have with us beloved Boomer Cappy.
Yes.
We had TJ with us, but for whatever reason, I think he dumped his ass out, so he's not here.
I called him at 5 a.m. his time because I got up early.
What the 5
If you'd
a.m.?
have called me that early, I would have gotten on to you.
Number one, I wouldn't call you that. Rob, I would never do that to you because I respect you. TJ, I don't respect. That's why I called him at 5 a.m. his time. So it's one of the benefits of being on roughly East Coast time. I'm like, I couldn't get to sleep, so I got, I went on a walk. And I'm like, I'm gonna call TJ. And the problem is he was already up. It didn't disturb his slumber. He was already up and at him.
Thanks, Biggie.
Yeah, it was God giving me a little bit of slack.
There you go. Did you dump your ass out there, TJ?
I'll say what?
All right. No, here's two things. One, we just noticed that you disappeared, and number two, your computer's making that infernal racketing again.
No, not you. It's TJ.
Hey, Juan, Red, Bacon. Thanks for the super chat, Bacon. We appreciate that.
What's that like getting money on the internet? It's a new feeling, isn't it?
What are you talking about?
It's like losing your virginity, huh? I mean, it's the first. What's it like making money, huh? What is TJ doing? You think I'm a boomer?
Well, no, the internal workings of his laptop will sometimes make weird noises.
The fan? Okay.
Yeah,
there we go.
Maybe the fan. I don't know. It's
I need to take drugs to get that anti-stroke. Or I can't watch it. It's like.
What's Amos?
Oh.
He needs the goggles and the fucking scarf for that. No,
Right.
It's still doing it. It's actually worse now. Actually, hang on. Wait a minute. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. All right.
I don't hear anything. Sounds great.
It's fine now. Don't breathe. Shh. Wait.
Right.
I'm going to share this.
You're fine.
Okay, my freaking audio is awful.
Just
1 second.
Ignore it for a sec.
It's just a hint of it.
Yeah, it's fine now. We can soldier on. It's not a big deal.
No. My so I'm getting my audio through these
Cameron?
new headphones that I got.
Oh, okay.
Is Skelton in Salt Lake City?
Yeah. Oh, outside of it, right?
The area, yeah.
Oh.
I'm about 25 miles south.
I'm gonna come back in. I'm gonna get
All
this
right.
dealt with 1 second.
You got it.
Did you get the joy of experiencing the earthquake that none of us did?
Yeah, just a little bit. Where I live actually wasn't, but I lived 10 years in Southern California, Orange County. Actually, what is it? Actually, more like 12 years Southern California between Orange County and the Palm Springs area, if you know where that is technically. But I've experienced a lot of earthquakes in Southern California, actually, that this just kind of this is another mellow one.
Oh.
Where I live, it didn't bother me at all. So I'm just trying to figure out a way to share images that are behind the scenes of what we've managed to pull off. Because in the Salt Lake sit-down, you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you managed to pull off. What?
Well, you'll see our jury rigged. It's so analog to give a good, decent. Do I look okay on camera and you sound?
You look better than Rob.
Rob's that.
Oh, damn it. There's Rob.
There's a lot of
Oh,
fucking
there's
shit
gonna
to hook
be.
this up, which he says there's one cable to rule them all, and just have a USB camera with your laptop, which
Yeah.
I could do with just the MacBook Pro, but I wanted to make it pretty.
Make it special.
I'm a nerd.
Of course, that's why you're here.
I'm a true geek, and especially what I did for a living in life was super. I don't recommend videography to get rich. In other words,
Running your mouth and being on camera is not going to get you rich? What the hell?
No,
are you talking
right.
about?
But I enjoy this way more.
It works for Aaron. He's a
I'm not
multi-millionaire.
rich.
over
I'm
there.
not a multi-millionaire. I'm not even
Not
a
yet.
fractional
Not yet.
millionaire. Well,
Not yet.
give inflation. If we keep printing off those Trump bucks, we'll all be millionaires pretty soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
$500 apples. That's,
There you go.
It's hard for me to talk about money for different reasons.
Oh.
Oh man.
Someday
What are
I'll-
you guys trying to do over there? Like just share an image or something? Or
Yeah, just so when
he's
you want
doing
to,
you, Aaron. He's trying to not be.
you know how to do it. So
good,
here's what-
TJ.
well, he's a PC guy. Hi, I'm a PC. I'm a Mac. You old enough to remember that shit? This is like red pill, previous computer geek. Who is
It was back when people
really?
actually.
My soul really is Mac, but I get PC guy better because in reality, he is a cold, heartless, lifeless Sith heart, fierce. And I'm way more Skywalker romantic to the death of my good soul. He won't die the good man's death. I probably will someday in life. Some days I wonder if I'm going to get hit by a truck just because I'm too lucky.
this took even a darker turn than I was expecting.
It has.
I thought I'm usually the bummer on
So
this one.
So you're trying to.
Totally. You understand, anyone that understands human nature. And if Jonathan from Modern Life Dating watches this, he'll go, oh, yeah, his body language is saying this or that, but it's arousing in this way that you're not aware of.
If he stands this and he's talking
my legs
like
are crossed towards you, and now I'm showing you the Basic Instinct shot.
Would you guys like to see my Modern Life John impersonation?
Anyway,
Sure. Where's your sunglasses?
So,
there you go.
but we're like, we can share an image.
Jesus Christ.
I feel more like Stevie Wonder.
I would say Stevie Wonder over there.
Dude, this is so cool because I'm a Mac guy that figured out shit that's like there's a special product for everything on fucking PC.
Yeah,
But
it's
to make
ridiculous.
a jury rigged, when he shows the images of wedding videographer's camera that actually shoots really beautiful video, this is film-like for anyone that understands cinematography. It's 35 millimeter depth of field live streaming that I figured out with some of my old shit, which is kind of fun because most everyone just throws on there. I could throw on the MacBook Pro. I even could do it, I think, technically switch between MacBook Pro video output or my camera that I fucking jury rigged to get to work through fucking Thunderbolt and USB and all this shit to give you a decent, a pretty live image that you could still hear me on.
But it's only us. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah, you don't have to go all
Yeah, I mean,
out. It's not a huge deal.
So anyway, we're just, if this audio is acceptable, now we can just be comfortable and talk without, you don't have to worry
I
about
wasn't gay at all.
no
Yeah,
homo. But he doesn't have to have this where he's, I want to poke it through so it's like going
Sure you do.
kind of thing.
Whoa, wait a minute, Jesus Christ! You guys, as long as you guys buy each other breakfast, you're fine.
Dude, I could tell you
Fuck.
guys, we go to this local bar that has it's laughable how pathetically nostalgic I am. If you guys are masculine geeks, I am like the kid who grew up in like Stranger Things stuff. When my kids watch that, they understand the stories that I've told about my adolescence and stuff is Stranger Things without an alien thing happening. I'm just a kid too stuck in his own head. Early in life, that's a geek, right?
Do they have
bizarre,
pedal bikes in Stranger Things? I remember watching one or two episodes.
They
but
do,
are
yeah.
They do? Okay, because I was
Yeah.
like, you have to have that Goonies thing where it's like basically this is your car in 1984, which is a BMX bike. Yeah, okay.
Exactly. Yeah. No, they have their bikes. Yep. There isn't a kid that grew up in the '80s that did not have a bike.
Yep.
That was like a requisite. You had to have a bike.
Actually, that was me. My fucking parents never bought me one.
Do you ever remember like so the
I had golf clubs though.
Oh, how bourgeois of you.
Oh yeah, very bougie. In
Yes.
its
So do you remember like it was a 1-speed bike, just one gear on these BMX bikes.
Mhm.
Did you guys ever bike to the next town over? And because we didn't have GPS or anything like that, it was like discovering an entirely new world.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every kid was Indiana Jones.
Yeah. And also
look-
you bike, 10 miles in one direction, which was huge on a 1-speed BMX as a like little 10-year-old kid. And also
yeah.
you discover this other town, this other school, like different playgrounds. You're playing on it, and even though
Or
it's
you're
a
right.
Sunday-
You're driving the car with your parents. You're in the back seat, and you see this cool like stretch of woods. You're like, oh, I'm gonna go explore that.
Mhm.
And then you have to go try to find it later on your bike. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of places when I was a kid that my family visited, and I really have no idea where it was.
simple, stupid.
And so it's difficult to ask someone now, like, where did you take me this one time? Like there was this lake or there was this pond. It's like unless you can take your mental image and give it to them in a photograph, they're not going to have no idea what you're talking about. But yeah, it was cool. Like, I think that's the one thing that the internet has taken away is the mystery of some stuff. Like you
can't get lost.
Well, yeah. I mean,
there's no way.
You're
safe whether you fucking like it or not.
Well, there's been advantages to that because I actually just found this the other day. I got this. This is an old Garmin, direction finder thing. This was huge for me years ago because
is that a Garmin Nuvi?
Yeah, the Nuvi.
I have the same thing. Yep.
I had huge problems finding places. I just wasn't good at. I wasn't good at. I got lost easily. That kind of thing.
Like out hiking or on the road?
Oh, on the road.
Oh, okay.
Like if somebody said, "Oh, you got to go down south and you got to get onto this and then you take this route," it's like. I think also part of it was just people are really bad at giving directions. Because if you don't know where you're going, all you have to rely on is the directions they give. So you have to be very precise with the directions that you give. Right? When you say take a red turn at this barn and there's actually 2 right turns, but one of them's, it doesn't really go anywhere. It's a dead end, but it doesn't say like that kind of stuff. Anyways, it's an advantage to have GPS and be able to find, because I would have gotten, I probably wouldn't have even gone on a lot of stuff if I didn't have a GPS tracker. But at the same time, it's places that you would have to actually go visit, you can now see on your computer.
Oh yeah, you just Google Map that and just you're there.
Yeah. There's a mother joke there somewhere, but that's
pretty much.
It's such a large area. I mean, where are we talking about?
I don't know. Well, TJ, did you ever have to actually pull out the old atlas map? Like if you're going to go cross country, you had to do the, choose your route and there was no, the traffic is bad here. You're just well, I hope there's no construction and you went that route and you had to memorize
that fold out map. Yes.
Yep.
All those gas station maps.
This was my life experience. I did not have my own car until I was in my 20s. I didn't have a car in college, and the car I had in high school was a beat 'em up Buick Century. So I really did not get to drive a lot when I was a kid. It was very, very limited to utilitarian purposes. So I drove to work. That was basically, and maybe to school. That was it. That was the only time I was allowed to actually go drive. And then I got my own car. Well, I was driving to work most of the time and just didn't have the money to go travel some places. So that's one part of my life that I never got to live. And I'm not saying that well onto me, but I'm kind of looking at I never got to do that kind of stuff. I never got to go out and use those maps and actually figure stuff out. So I think that's something that, especially with the younger generation, they're not even going to know that was even a thing. I mean, they don't know what life was like PI, or was it not pre-internet, but before internet, after internet, right? AI, well, that's going to sound kind of weird.
I know what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah.
One of my fondest memories is looking back. At the time, it sucked, but not knowing if your car was going to make it to Milwaukee and back. Yeah, this old 1978 Dodge. You're like, God, I hope this, 240,000 miles. You're like, well, I hope this thing makes it. And you celebrate what it did.
And you carry oil. Make sure you carried your oil and your antifreeze and all kinds of shit in your trunk.
Sure,
yep,
absolutely.
Well, I mean, I still do that stuff now because I'm used to having old cars. I don't buy new cars. I don't take out loans for cars. So I just assume that something's going to go wrong at some point. So you have your oil, you have your coolant, you got a little bit of water, you've got some basic tools and stuff. So if your car breaks down and you can do a minor repair, you get on the road and then head out. But I did do one risky thing. I went through there's this state route that up Pass, which is where 40 miles from one gas station to where I live, right? And I was on very, very low gas. And I just said, you know what, it was like the point of no return. Am I going to try and go through the pass on low fuel and make it? I was like, you know what, we got to have a little fun in life. Got to have a little adventure. I ended up making it just fine. You know, I had 20 miles left when I got to the gas station.
Yeah, but wasn't this one of your new? Well, how old was the car that you were driving there, TJ?
Well, it's a 2005 SUV, but it gets like 18 miles to the gallon max.
Right,
So-
but what I'm saying is, I think after 2000 or even the late 90s, they built it in so there's like 60 miles or at least 40 miles worth of fuel, even though it's on E.
Oh, I got
To
It's
fool
like-
people into thinking like, oh yeah,
When that dummy light comes on, you have an extra mile or two. of
no, the dummy
gas.
light means you got like another 40 or 50, but they don't tell anyone that because they want you to be scared.
Mine shows how
Yes.
many miles you have left, but the problem is like that's based on the current fuel consumption, so it'll change. But typically mine will get around a certain when I know the amount of mileage it gets per gallon. But yeah, it's like going back to the map thing. Yeah, it was like cool to look at a map of the area as a kid and say, we've never been there. Let's get on our bikes and go there. And you'd see, you know, there's a lot of wooded areas where I grew up. So it was cool to like just explore. And it was also not nearly as developed. I mean, the population in the Seattle metro area has completely exploded. So there were areas that used to just be woods that are now, you know, single family developments and stuff like that. They're plats. And so now you can just look at all that stuff through Google Maps, and it's really taken away the adventure type stuff. I almost wonder if we had kids or we were parents, like to what extent is limiting the internet actually good for a kid? You know, like say, no, you're not going to use Google Maps to plan your route for this place. You're going to go map it out and actually use your brain and think, and not having them use the phone every time they're trying to figure something out.
I unfortunately, one of the epiphanies, a sad epiphany I had is I didn't have the money or the time to really start exploring until I was TJ's age, 13. And I'm sorry, 30. And I didn't even have the money. I was just so fucking sick and tired of saving money and doing the right thing. I'm like, that's it. Screw it. I'm going. And growing up in the 80s, pre-internet, and not knowing what was over that next. I mean, I knew north, south, east, and west, but I had never, I hadn't been to Denver. I hadn't been to LA. Yeah. I hadn't been to these towns. And what was one of the bigger letdowns in my life is how standardized American cities and towns are, where it's there's your strip mall, there's your Subway, your Verizon phone shop, your dental office. And okay, maybe people are talking with a little bit different accent. Maybe there's a couple more dually trucks in the parking lot, or it's New Jersey and people are rude and they run you off the road. But in either case, it's not really all that different. It's kind of universal. And even the downtowns are.
Well, that's the thing is, when I was traveling through the British Isles,
I gotta go, guy. I'll be back in a sec.
Okay. What the fuck?
He's got to get his 4-hour nap.
He's got to go get. Oh, there's this 15-minute check-in.
Anyways, I was
thanks
gonna
nonstop for the super chat.
Yeah, it's true. Most major cities are going to be the same, and that was my experience when I was over in Europe. I mean, Dublin, London, I would still go to. Like, don't get me wrong, but like the major cosmopolitan areas are going to be the same, right?
Yeah, it's true.
So if you want to go experience difference, you got to go to the rural areas because that's where things haven't really changed or they've not been affected as much. In other words, you really got to go. I know it sounds weird, but you got to go where the wealth isn't, right?
Yeah,
because that's where. Because then you like, for example, let's say Havana right now. If they opened up the country and became capitalistic and free market, what do you think?
Oh, it would just get absorbed with technology and consumerism and
Yeah, I'm obviously not a communist, right? I'm not advocating for communism, right? We should have overthrown that bastard years ago. But the point is, communism isn't the only horrible thing in life, right? There are other things like whatever we've got going on with this global corporatism type stuff where everything has to look the same. It's all a bunch of ugly box buildings, the same companies. Like there's nothing unique about that area, right?
Hey, Rollo.
Oh, really? You know, Marlo, my experience in Washington State, at least my area, has been there are the same stores and stuff like that. That's why you got to kind of go to the rural. I don't know. You got to go to the small towns or something like that. But yeah, there's going to be the same stores. But man, after this whole, not to talk about, Coors Light virus, I'm wondering I wonder how many small businesses are going to be left. I mean,
I know. Well, that's the thing. I mean, how much cash reserves do they have? I mean, a lot of these businesses are, skating by the skin of their teeth.
That's why the rural areas are where the mom and pop shops can still exist, because there's no competition, because they're like the big store companies. They look at the demographics and the audience, or not audience, like the customers, the consumers there. And if there's not the base, like I was a reporter in a small town. Everybody wanted Trader Joe's, except Trader Joe's wouldn't go there because there wasn't enough customer demand for their type of person. Like they have a very specific. So mom and pop shops can thrive in those areas because they don't have to worry. Like they're the only game in town. Well, now they get wiped out. They all got to get absorbed into what was the name of that company from RoboCop?
Global Corp.
Yeah, Global Corp. Global Homo Corp. Man, I ran to a buddy of mine at the grocery store, and he works independently, like painting houses or something like that. And we were just talking about how, man, imagine like busting your ass to get together a small business. You're working hard, you're following all the rules, and then the shutdown just completely wipes you out. And unlike all the restaurant, sports bar people who, just do it because they want to run a sports bar like Cappy's complained about, these are people who actually had a good business idea, right? But it was kind of an all or nothing situation. They were, they gave it everything they got, and then they get wiped out.
I know this may shock you guys, but I'm going to be kind of a dick here. I don't care. Well, I did the math and I looked into it.
I'm shocked.
Well, there's a sob piece article in the local rag here in the Twin Cities, and there's this new immigrant dude who ran a cultural restaurant. I don't know if it Middle East, Bangladeshi. It was a Bangladeshi restaurant, and how the large restaurants got their bailout, and he didn't get any bailout money, in part because he didn't speak English, in part because he waited 2 weeks to file it. And then the media in the Twin Cities is, now that's somehow my fault as a taxpayer. This guy's procrastinating and dumb, and doesn't speak the language of the town he's in. And there was some hurdles there. But all that aside, whether immigrant restaurant or not, working in banking, 95% of those restaurants, the sole proprietor, individual, non-franchised, non-established restaurants, they're going to go bankrupt anyway. And if anything, this coronavirus has done them a favor of putting them out of their misery. Because I've seen people deplete their savings and their 401k and IRA because they had to keep it, became their own Moby Dick, where they had to go and make their coffee shop work. It's like, no, you just don't have the managerial skill to do so.
So I'm thinking more of like small businesses, not just restaurants. I'm thinking like it's somebody who had a solid business idea. They had a good idea. They took a risk, and who knows, they probably or might have succeeded. And because this isn't a market correction. This isn't like the video game crash of '83. This isn't the dot-com crash of 2000. This isn't a correction in the market where the demand just isn't there. It was artificial. It was non-existent. This is where the government's saying we're not allowed. This is like communism, right? They're just saying you can't do business unless we say you can do business, right? It's arbitrary and capricious. So I'm trying to, I don't know how I would respond as a small business owner. This is why I don't do that kind of stuff. I'm not going to encourage Jack to deal with it.
Here's, again, I'll be the dick. Why there was a polio epidemic in 1952, I think, and everyone had to be quarantined, about to the level we are now, even more so.
Yeah.
You know how they got by? It wasn't a crisis. There was no articles. It's just, everyone stay home in quarantine. You know how they got by? People had savings. They knew bad times could happen. And whether you're a small company or a big company, I don't care. You should have at least 3 months cash reserves. So I don't care about any company, small, big, large, whatever. If you can't get by a month or 2 months because you didn't squirrel away enough cash in case there's bad times, I just don't care. But no one's doing that, be it a corporation or individuals. Everyone's living paycheck to paycheck.
That's what blows my mind. Like I saved. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I just mindset. But I always assume bad times are going to come. So you stock away savings. You have enough money. Like, I'm not going to say how much I've got saved up, but like, I've saved up for where you have because I've had multiple bad things happen back to back financially. So the lesson from that is it can happen. Prepare accordingly. And then I looked at all the stuff that's going on with corporate. Like, this is why my job, the way I work for a small company, and it's basically me and a couple other people, and we work remotely. We don't have any overhead, so we run a very tight ship that is well equipped to weather this storm. And the same thing with me. So I guess you kind of have a point where people just didn't save money. It's like, I don't know. It's almost this assumption that someone else is going to bail them out.
No, where would they get that idea from the K through college education system? How would they really?
That's just silly.
No, that's just crazy, man. No, I don't care about. Then again, I know this shocks you guys. I'm a misanthrope, but I don't care about people. And I don't care if you're the greatest small business.
I don't care about people.
I don't care
about people, but buy my book, you fuckers.
I only care about the small elite of true intellectuals and superior.
You know what I like here? Hang on a second.
Buy my books. Who I dedicate my
Aaron,
books.
Hang on a second. I'm really digging. We have this conversation going here in the chat, and then Skelton and Rob were over there having this tete-a-tete with the burning bush that we're not privy to.
Hey, you and your burning bush.
I'm so glad this works technically. This is cool. So
can you guys talk with a lisp just to complete the picture right now? Can you guys just talk with lisps? That would.
Oh fuck!
Have you been out golfing and getting some sun? Because
no, they just opened the golf right now, and I did get some sun. I went for a 7-mile hike today. I even walked.
In that shirt, or are you coming back
not
from
in
a job
shirt.
interview?
No. I got the shirt. I have dinner tonight. I got my wife's permission to go to dinner.
With her, or is are you going with her boyfriend?
No, we're gonna go to dinner, and that's why I'm dressed up a little bit, because we're going to my buddy's place. And
okay, cool. You gotta wear your mask. You have your cappy mask.
No, I don't have my cap. Oh, I do have. Yeah, the Alpha
cappy mask.
My Mexican wrestling.
You should totally put that on now with that with that shirt.
I should, but my hair is too good looking right now. No, look at this hair.
My hair.
Look at that nice hair. Jesus.
That coiffed hairdo. Fuck that. You can comb it over.
Is that nice? You and Rich Cooper can go suck tailpipe on this one. Look at that nice hair.
Rob's living room is now the Blue Oyster.
Pop star.
Wait, what was the name of the Happy Clam? Was that the one in Family Guy? They always go to the Happy Clam.
I think so, or something like that. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Anyway, yes, that's why I look pretty today. But I did get my exercise. Gotcha. I did get sun. Yes.
Okay. Cool. Very good.
No. And I think 3 days ago it was potentially snowing in northern Minnesota. So yeah, I'm very happy.
Really?
It's almost. Oh yeah, no, northern Minnesota. It sucks up there. Sucks here too, but
the drunken clam.
The drunken clam. That's what it was. Okay, the drunken clam.
Rich Cooper wants to buy your mystery.
Hey, Vince, do we want to do a little geek and tell, show off the new pipe?
Yeah, please do. Yeah, show it off, see?
He's got a new pipe, huh?
Oh, yeah. He's got some slippers, too, and Reese is going to bring them later.
It's very comfortable. Yeah.
Aw.
Is Reese over there right now?
No.
I don't think so.
I love Reese, but Reese is just, he's 10 years old, but he's got the energy of a pup. Like he's an 11 on a 10 scale of.
It's perfect for hikes, though, right? I mean, does he go nuts when you go hiking? Does he heel or does he just go nuts?
No, he goes nuts. Like he'll legitimately drag me up and down the mountain because he's a purebred, and purebreds don't concern. It's 100% until they just drop dead. Yeah.
Mhm.
So anyway,
Okay.
this is my new pipe.
Mm.
I just
Cool.
smoked it last
No,
night.
no, it's a church warden, right?
It is a church warden. So you're gonna sit there like this, eh? It also
Nice.
comes with
Ow, fuck.
a little
Oh, a stand.
Oh, a little stand. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's like a
It's like a
bench.
lounge. It's like a lounge
yeah,
chair
a
for your
lounge
church
chair for
warden.
my pipe.
Can you gesture with that pipe? Like take a drag, think, pontificate, one eyebrow raised to the other, and then you gesture.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good idea, Phipps.
Phipps.
And then it came with I finally needed to get these, but is
The tamper.
the tamper, yeah, all the different stuff.
Yeah.
So I got this, all three it was like $50 with shipping included. So it was a steal. It's a good pipe.
Nice. All right, send me that link again. Now that I know they're not communist fuckers.
Yeah, because it's from a guy. Oh, there's still some. I've been trying to get this crap out of there. It's from some guy in Las Vegas. Now, yeah, I was a little concerned. I was going to cancel the order, but then I saw where the pipe was coming from, so I was like, no, they're not a bunch of. I was going to say something else, but I'm not going to say it on there. I'm not going to say it. I don't want the video.
Communist cunts.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Nah.
Hmm.
I don't support communism.
Aw.
How many people are tuning in right now and not liking us?
34 are watching.
How many?
I don't
How
know.
many likes?
I don't know. You have to check the show. I don't have another tab open with the show going, so I can't see.
Did you tweet this out?
Rollo did.
No.
All right.
Did he?
I'll retweet
Oh, that's
it.
cool. Thank you, Rollo.
Thanks, Rollo.
Oh, right. Roll Tomas. Well, then there's no reason for me. I don't have the.
No,
poll
tweet it
either.
out, you son of a bitch. You're on the show.
Yeah, trade out, you dirty whore.
Oh, almighty. I tell you guys.
Eight
to take money.
8 likes. You guys fucking just it takes no work whatsoever to hit the like button. For fuck's sake, Jesus Christ.
You guys have a Twitter account? You guys on
Yes,
this?
you
Oh, here it
know
is.
you-
Cappy. Remember that time during the Christmas season when you messaged me on Facebook saying, "Are we friends on Facebook?"
Aaron would forget his name if we didn't yell it at him.
He's a fat innkeeper who remembers his name because people shouted
People
at him.
shouted at him all day. Aaron relies on us to keep him in certain memories.
I do.
Mhm.
There's times I forget
Oh.
stuff. All right,
So
there
you
we go.
you called me at like 11:15. I was still in bed. I was like, I'm not answering this.
morning.
Fuck that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. Asking about the itinerary, you asshole.
I just want to be prepared. That's all.
Well,
I just-
absolutely. Well, you had to make sure you dressed up and do your hair for us. So
I just gonna take a shower and put goop in my hair. Don't mean like I've gone like to the dark side of the force or anything. Is it just weird watching these two talk?
I know, right?
Well,
It's like
it's
they're
just
having
the
a
weirdest
separate
thing.
conversation. He's like,
I
yeah,
feel like
the other
watching
night,
Modern
I'm thinking
Family.
about Skelton just like, I'm thinking about having my testicles
Okay,
laminated.
I'll do Rob. You do Skelton. I'll do Rob.
Rob, what do you think? The other night, you think that dude was checking me out?
Well, I looked down and I was selling.
You gotta add the list, dude.
I had to go to the paper shredding place with my company, and they're working me to the bone. If you know, maybe I'd like to get another type of bone. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Oh,
Sure like this beer. Let me take a drink and imagine you boning me, Skelton.
Go fuck yourself.
Want to hear some awesome sex squeaking? Not gay though.
go right ahead. Yes.
Yeah.
The recliner that I'm using in not quite right.
Hmm.
Theater seating. I'm gonna recline and be really gay.
Oh yeah, you can hear that.
There you go. Just spread your legs and angle the camera down more. There you go.
Rob.
There you go. Put your other leg over on top of Rob. There you go.
I'm reclining.
Oh,
Fucking great.
I have one of those too. They're really fun.
Yeah, they are.
With my
Okay.
35 millimeter depth of field for any nerd of photography, it's live streaming 35 millimeter depth of field with a decent.
That's
The
all.
image is entirely natural light too.
You guys look really, really good. Yeah, I got natural light too. The sun is fucking blinding me.
That's what happens when the light's inside. When the light's hitting you versus the light not.
Yep.
Shit, nerd setup. You showed the selfie. Now share the other one, which is the actual what my camera contraption and laptop. You'll laugh at unopened Costco boxes that are being used as standard laptop.
Oh my God.
Thanks, nonstop.
You'll understand the visual because I have an unopened bidet
Jesus.
that I bought.
All we need is lists. That's all we need right now is lists.
That is big, dude.
Gayland.
Can you bend your wrist more?
Yeah.
Doing the image and see what I actually do.
Fuck.
It's so Costco.
We just lost like 4 people on this.
Sorry, guys.
Nah, fuck it. They can't take a joke.
Yeah, fuck 'em.
Hey, Steven. Steven's in the.
Where's that fucking picture?
It's
Steven, what's going on?
this one. It says BTS,
That
behind
one?
the scenes.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yes.
Here,
Check
do you
out
really
Rob.
wanna show that one.
Yes.
All right, fuck it.
Show it. It's
Oh god, is there nudity of you guys? We don't want to.
Yes.
Come on, you're gonna get us banned.
Guys, he's not as in shape as he tries to project.
It looks worse under the shirt.
Just
Yes,
zoom
it
in.
does.
Yes.
What do you got in your hand there,
Wow,
Rob?
that's a big place. Look at that. That's awfully
Yeah.
nice.
That's a cool. Now, do they all recline? Do they all?
You want to hear the funniest story?
That Rob's couch casting right now, according to that picture.
Oh my
That's-
God.
Rob's paying couch payments right now.
That couch is bigger than my house.
The camera
awesome.
has a lens adapter, and I'm actually using a Zeiss old, not electronic Canon lens or anything. An old lens adapted to a video camera that's actually only analog. You can only change the f-stops, you know.
You got XLR connections on the audio?
Yes, actually. Well, we're actually using the MacBook Pro's built-in microphone.
okay.
And it's allowing the loop back of your guys' audio clean without you guys. I'm not creating a bad audio loop for you guys, right?
No, you're fine.
Am I intelligible, the sound?
Yeah, you're good.
So the cool thing is the sound is working with just the makeshift shit from the MacBook Pro, but the video is my cool old camera that I've like chased brides around with.
Nice.
It's got funny ass videos, like the shit I could show that I've filmed of like young couples that think they're gonna stay together.
Oh, I believe it.
Do you do a time lapse of them just gaining weight once they have the first?
Gaining weight.
Just like they take the first bite of cake and then
Every like 2-year increments, just like
not
yeah.
even 2 years. I'm talking like 5-minute increments.
What
Local thing.
increments?
Here's a cool local thing in the red pill sense. I mean, here's a red pill wow thing about that's unique to Utah and the bubble we live in is it's patriarchal, but it's extreme blue pill.
Very.
There's
Church teaches you
varying
to.
levels of
Church is a
interaction
beta
with women
form.
between hyper blue pilled feminist university kid up at University of Utah to BYU. I think I'll never have a gay friend in my life. Dudes at BYU in Provo, Utah, which is the last holdout of saying, "Hey, we don't like gay people," you know, which is dying quickly. There's like, I don't know. Utah is an interesting little microcosm, is all I'm saying.
There you go. What was Modern Life John doing? Who is he fucking killing?
I don't know. I just threw that up there.
Anyway, I'm
Yeah,
just
it's
enjoying
being
that my old technology merged with new technology to make like a cool lifestyle.
Casting couch for Rob. Yeah. Rob, can you pose a little?
How did you do, Rob? Did you get the job?
The sausages on his shoulders as props. I want to put Costco sausage on his shoulders.
There you go. You go with the high end stuff.
I wish we had like,
I hang out in the sausage section as a visual joke for women to walk by me in Costco. I want to deeply embed something hilarious subconsciously with them. Just here's a guy checking his phone that doesn't give a fuck in life anymore. That definitely is holding his own at 49. It just happens to hang out for about 3 minutes in front of a bunch of sausages.
And the pickle jar.
In the age of coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
That's bad.
No mask, not wearing a mask and anything. Yeah, there you go. Now, you guys, because I'm not doing it, and I don't think you guys are. You're not wearing masks when you go out, are you?
nope.
No.
No.
Oh, Not,
Okay.
until I see death statistics start warring it, I'm not.
Only
I'm
a few
yeah.
stores. It seems like it's getting close to 50-50 people having
Hmm.
masks on. I can
Yeah.
tell from a lot of trips to Costco. I've actually
Yeah, right.
I've observed no masks to half the people now have masks on.
Hmm.
I have granted people the courtesy of like, I'm just going to assume they're all Karens and they're going to get pissed off at me if I get too close to them. So I'm giving people a wide berth just because I don't.
How's that any different from what you've been doing for 30 years?
No, I give them a shoulder, like,
You shoulder, you just body check them.
like, hey, you're probably collecting my money somehow. You're on Social Security, Grandma.
It's a good opportunity for you to carry around a couple of your books and just hand them out.
Yeah, and it scares people away like leprosy. So
You're good.
But I have been giving people, even on the running and walking trails, like I'll just, no reason to get them because they got their masks on. They're all scared and worried. I'm like, okay, it's 75 degrees and sunny out. You're all fine. And, I'm choosing my battles. These are not hills to even start a war on.
Not really. No. And today I was out and about. I went for a walk and then I was out on the motorcycle for a little bit, but there's people everywhere. No masks.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't know if it's the same thing in your guys' area. I'm kind of curious about TJ because he's just got some amazing hiking, some of the best hiking in the nation where he lives. Mm-hmm. But there are a ton of people out walking. I mean, kids are outdoors. It's nice to see. A lot of kids are playing. A lot of families are out. Mm-hmm. There's the wine circles going on where women will break out the outdoor chairs and have a bonfire pit, but they'll be 6 feet away, each with their own bottle of wine.
Yeah, people were doing that in like random parking lots or having like these tailgate parties. Yeah.
No, so it's kind of cool to see that, but I guess about half of them got a mask on. But it is good to see people out walking and running. It's good to see.
Don't be soy. He's based in London. Yeah, they don't do plagues well. Nope.
You got a warning?
Juan's in San Francisco.
Oh shit! You got to get out of there.
Yeah,
escape from San Francisco, man.
Well, closed our trails, but leave the walking trails open where you can't stay social distancing, walk side by. What, over in Minnesota?
No, Carl and I are here in New Jersey with the Pine Barrens and stuff. I go out anyway. I don't fucking care.
Yeah, I think I sent cops to manage the hundreds of miles of trails.
They don't have the manpower for that even during.
Yeah, but the thing is, in my area, I'm not worried about the cops. I'm not worried about the Forest Service. I'm worried about the Karens and the puritanical.
They're actually, they're worse than the actual law enforcement.
These are the people who will take photos of people and post them on Facebook, and like because they got nothing else better to do.
Right.
They're and then on top of that, you've got those people. Then you've got the prepper survivalist, white nationalist type. Like the world is going to end. They've been waiting 20 years. They bought a piece of property that was out in the wilderness, and now it's surrounded by people, and they're all getting wigged out. And then this happens, and then they see a guy on the trail like me, and I see a guy run into his shed with a rifle in his hand, and I think I'm going to get shot. Like that kind of stuff where, like, I'll go on a trail where there's no private land next to it. You know what I mean? Where I don't have to worry about the Karens in their little fancy ugly ass, postmodern mansion next to the trailhead. And also the trail doesn't go by property of somebody who probably bought it back in the 80s when he thought the world was going to end or something like that.
Right.
With all the comments in the comment section about parks and all that, guys, you can walk in a park. I love how they said we're closing down the national parks. Oh, you're closing down this 3 million square acre mile park here.
What we're trying to say is we're going to attempt to not allow you access if we can.
Right. It's just like
not going to happen.
You can't even protect the U.S. border. What do you're not going to prevent me from getting into Glacier National Park or Rocky Mountain National Park. So
it's not that they can't protect the border. It's that they just don't want it. Right. But the moment that I promise you, they would send in the army to stop somebody from going into a park, national forest that they don't. What's crazy is the national forest that I'm right next to, it is technically not closed. What they did is they closed the trailheads, and the trailheads are typically the ones that you can actually hike because we got a lot of snow still from this winter. A lot of the trailheads are next to people's homes, and these are the homes of all the fancy, wealthy, hoity-toity city folk people, right? They're the ones who are going to call the Karens who are going to call the police when they see someone park at the trailhead, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's if they're out there.
And yeah, they may, and the cops may not show up. Okay.
Thanks, Dark Newt.
But, you know, if I ever have a Karen come up to me and start giving me crap, I just don't want to download on them, right?
You just be brief, and you're fine.
You just say, okay, Karen, you walk away, and they'll get pissed off.
Yep.
Vince, what's that like getting money? Do you know how that works now?
I do, yes. Thank you.
There's money's in your account.
Fucking cock.
That's a British pound. You multiply that almost times 2 to get dollars.
No, thank you, Dark Newt. I appreciate that.
And he didn't even say nothing. Yeah.
Kevin, not anymore. Dude, the US dollar is doing amazing.
Well, Hank, what is the pound to US dollar? You're right. GBP.
We're doing good? Really?
Well, yeah, because
good-ish.
Right now.
Wow, 1.24.
Yeah.
DJ wasn't joking. Holy shit. It used to be like 2.25. Now it's only 1.24.
This is what.
How are we compared to the euro?
We're doing well too.
Take a look at that. Because I remember back when I was in Paris in 2010,
$1.08
fucking sucked. Really?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
One thing that I've been noticing is that the U.S. dollar has been doing really well, but so is gold. Gold is like at it's approaching not its all-time high in the 80s when they were doing the deflationary stuff. It skyrocketed. I mean, adjusted for inflation, gold in 1980 went up to $7,000 an ounce. Now it was around 1,000, like 1,900, 1,800 at the time. But the point is, like, gold and silver just skyrocketed and then they dropped. We could see that happen again, but we could also see it's just weird to see the U.S. dollar go up along with gold. Usually they're not related. They're inversely proportional. When the dollar does strong, people stop investing in gold and silver. And silver prices are kind of weak right now. So it's amazing. What this has really shown is that as bad as the U.S. is financially, I'm actually more optimistic about the country in the long term because everyone else is in even worse shape than us, and that includes the Chinese.
Oh, especially the Chinese.
Oh, wow.
It's the good news is no matter how our finances are pretty bad, but in being the world's reserve currency and now having our number one competitor, China, that would have maybe dethroned the U.S. dollar going to pot.
Yeah.
What's nice about that is we, even though you may not like socialism and socialists, we're not paying for it. We just print off our money, and we can export our inflation. So if we actually had to pay for all the socialism we want, we would be making a lot less money than we are now. But now we print it off. And you know what's great about all of us, because we're old, except for maybe TJ, we're all going to die before it has to be. And maybe TJ has to pay for it, but not me, Rob, or Vince, because we old as hell.
We have to worry about absolutely. Now, Aaron, what's your economic prediction for the next, like your forecast for the next, let's say, 5 years? 5 years? I don't know. There's no way anyone could predict that. I know this bullshit's going to be over in about a month or two. It'll take a quarter to get back to normal. And they're going to say, oh, remember when we all thought the sky was falling? I'm actually quite optimistic compared to other people I know, because we're not destroying. This is bad shit happens. You know, it's a hurricane, it's a natural disaster, but that doesn't mean our economy's out of whack. And yeah, prices were a little inflated and they're a little bit bubbly, but it was nothing like .coms or the housing bubble. But the fundamental economy, our factories are still there. The roads are working. The electronic system is fine. The infrastructure is there. And people are pent up. I've pointed this out before. I don't know if I mentioned it to you guys, but everyone's like, well, are people going to come back and spend their money? I'm like, we have it people are so pent up in their houses. They're so that they are starting to walk. Fat Americans are starting to get out and exercise. I went to Walmart. Oh, yeah.
I went to Walmart to get a tire.
Not a scooter to be seen.
Not a biker. That's how desperate and cooped up people are. They're going to be begging to go back to a restaurant.
So basically, the worst thing we're dealing with right now are the Karens. I mean, that's really the fallout right now.
I'd say the worst thing is people who work in the service industry. That's the worst for them because they're typically younger. They do have to live paycheck to paycheck, and now they don't have their job. So I really do feel kind of bad for them because they didn't see this coming. And usually, a lot of times, you're that poor you can't save up for 7 years fees, 7 years down. So that's probably the worst. Karen's up there, but dude, this is going to be. A month from now, we're going to be like, oh, remember that big nothing? This is the biggest nothing burger ever.
Yep.
Biggest nothing burger ever. And
mild inconvenience.
There's going to be some sort of correction in the market because I'm seeing. I mean, my state has unemployment figures that are worse than the Great Depression right now.
But it's artificial. It's because of I'm sure if you go back to 1952 when we had that polio scare, you'd see the same jump. You'll see this throughout economic history. You look at charts like, well, what was that spike? And it was a statistical outlier. There was, a flood or there was a drought. It was something temporary, and it spoke nothing. Locust.
Some shit.
Fat women named Karen. Whatever. It was a temporary, fleeting thing that was not chronic or endemic to the U.S. economy. And then, sure enough, when that phenomenon went away, everything went right back to normal. I think the worst thing we did was probably print off $2 trillion or $3 trillion to give everyone a Trump bucks to go and buy flat panel TVs. That will inevitably come to bite us in the ass once.
It's funny how a lot of them were priced at $1,200.
Yeah, amazing how that worked.
Right?
Yeah,
isn't it weird? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have Juan disagrees with you.
Well, Juan's in San Francisco stepping over human feces, so I don't know. And Juan poses another counter argument that people are making more money on unemployment and all these handouts, which is true. But I think they're going to be so cooped up again. They are so cooped up, they're exercising. Human nature is starting to. They're gonna be begging to get back to work or just get the hell out and go do something. So not only to work, but to spend their money. So I'm not worried at all on the long term. I think this will be it's going to be a bad quarter, no doubt, duh. But what did Houston look like? Or not Houston? What's the Louisiana town? New Orleans. What was that like? Nolens. What was that like after Hurricane Katrina? I'm sure it was
shitty for a while, and then it bounced back.
Their gross municipal product probably really sucks that one quarter or even that year, but it came back. I'm so not worried about this. God, it looks like Rob's got an assistant.
Is that hand lotion you're putting on? What are you doing?
It puts the hand lotion on.
Oh, you went like this. He handed you something, then you went like this.
He's like, Master Robert, what would you like? Would you like this? What do you want? Do you want wine? Do you want beer? Can I groom your beard for you?
Yeah, you can groom my fucking beard for me. God damn it!
Get the special sauce for you.
I mean, guys, just to go back to New Orleans. I mean, if you look at the census back in 2000, so this was right before Katrina. It was like a 485,000 population, and now it's below 400,000.
That's probably good.
Well, I mean, it's good, but like this. I mean, this is what's kind of amazing. If you want to look at something very interesting, go look up all the major cities in the United States, major metropolitan, Pittsburgh, New Orleans, whatever. Look at their populations in 1940 and 50, and then look at them now, and it's really amazing how many of them have dropped. And
people moving out to the suburbs. Yeah.
Right. I think that's really interesting where they used to be it's like, we talk about how our country is becoming more urban, but yet a lot of the major cities are becoming more or less populous.
Yeah, but the suburbs are expanding. That's just, and there was only so much housing stock in a city that's possible. But
so eventually, they're moving to suburban cities. Like,
right.
For example, my hometown, Bellevue, is a former bedroom community for people who worked in Seattle. So it's primarily a suburban city.
Right. Like Detroit proper, the municipality of Detroit has lost population, but the metro area of Detroit has actually grown. Because despite Detroit's best efforts, people who don't live in Detroit and don't have marks as city council members, South Lyon or whatever the other suburbs are, those people actually work. The production goes somewhere. People who want to work will go somewhere. Typically not the city.
True. Yeah. Carl, Rob is not at his house. He's at a secret location deep in the heart of Utah.
He's couch casting.
Around in Utah County, Happy Valley is where I'm at.
I'm really happy too.
Awesome.
So fellas.
Now, you've been on and off for almost an hour, Skeleton. You want to tell us what you're about, what you're doing?
What am I about? What am I doing?
Yeah, like why you're here?
I found
Thanks. Anyway, we're gonna move on now, guys. Well, introduce yourself. People don't know who you are, so.
I just know you as Rob's gay lover assistant, maid right now. I mean,
Rob's pornographic cameraman.
Yeah.
No, we're actually both he's more of a man's man than me. But I'm like,
what do you do for a living? Where are you from? Who are you really? And what were you before? What did you think? What did you do?
Exactly. Give us the LinkedIn. Give us your LinkedIn version.
Or Rob to proceed because he knows me.
Oh my God.
That's an investor in life right now.
Gotcha.
So I make money through investments right now. I will just put it that way. I do great. I'm happy in life. I got on the list for the 2020 Corvette C8 mid-engine. And the dealership, and this is just before Corona lockdown, calls me and says, hey, we have a special allocation, but we want you to know right now we're charging $10K more than MSRP. And I said, sorry, I'm happy to wait and see if it actually is a good new design or not. So you want to hear some cool red pill shit from a guy who's like a happy father who's divorced? He's out there. I've had some quality lays in my life this last year, better than my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
I actually mean that. If anyone wants a genuine smile that's older, that's pushing 50 like me, I'm one of the lucky guys pushing 50 to actually jump back in time a little and say, fuck, I wanted to do this in my 20s, but I just couldn't because I was too shy or unconfident or just I gave too many fucks.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I'm like, I am in a ZFG mode and it's freaking awesome. I'm wearing like slightly reminiscent Joker color schemes of sorts, just walking around like being a fucking whatever you want to perceive about me. But
nice.
I'm having fun. But what I ended up buying yesterday in cash was almost 8,400 miles on it Honda Accord Hybrid Touring Edition. That is super fucking nice for $10K less than if it was a 2020, and it's basically the same car.
Yeah.
So cool. I'm like drunk happy that I'm not making a car payment to any motherfucker at all.
Absolutely. Well
That's
done.
my, like personal little, like I decided not to go too much ego with a sports car at the moment. Truly, because like in the other podcast or thing we're doing live with if he fucking shares the picture and you see the video, did you see that setup of Rob? Did you see him on the couch, the picture, the screen share?
Yeah.
Oh, him going like that?
The one with the
like jury rigged, like this is Millennium Falcon style bucket of bolts thing that is spectacular as far as what it is pulling off. To me, what I wanted to do like as a live stream as a geek, because I was a video geek and I love movies and I've made a fucking werewolf short film before.
Cool. Do we get to see that?
So I'm like, maybe someday, but you have to let me live director's commentary it.
Absolutely. Do like that mystery science theater kind of shit.
Yeah, because I tried to make, here's some cool shit for an older guy. The movie The Howling.
Yes.
Remember Stand By Me?
Mm-hmm.
I tried to make a friendship story of two a boy that's a werewolf, a friendship story that's like Stand By Me meets The Howling, if you can imagine that.
Jesus, all right.
Damn.
How fucking weird I am. And I tried to pull it off in fucking 7 minutes for a local horror film festival thing we were doing here in the Salt Lake area. But I used my, like, if you know anything about how like great camera technology is nowadays and how cheap with Ryan Stone, what he's doing with his DSLR, his thing, I can see how he knows how to he's using a DSLR with the cinema depth of field and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, it's cool to be a little more creative with what's cheap and easy to do nowadays. I can tell with Rob, what he's done in his stream is, you're just a laptop with the green screen behind you is technically in your kitchen,
Living room.
but it looks good. It's a good presentation for him to be honest about himself, and I dug that about all his shit on his blog and the videos he's been doing. So and all these live streams, I get into it all. But to tell you the truth, I'm definitely red pill aware. Just one of the happier, maybe not quite as jaded ones, but actually being aware enough to I'm way more resilient after a heartbreak, which I kind of experienced about a week ago. But I have the last laugh at the same time, if you can imagine that.
I know, right?
Because what's his name?
That's Vince.
Vince. Hi, Vince.
How are you?
All right. Yeah, Vince. I think are we closer in the chronology?
I'm older than you.
Oh wow. Okay. Well,
That's right. You're old as fuck, aren't you, Vince?
Pretty much, yeah.
But hey, I'm not lying about my beard. This is all. I have such a.
Oh yeah, this is all gray. My hair is. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I would say last weekend's crazy weekend was 3 trigger phrases of what I tried. I actually worked hard to have a good profile that was genuinely funny. I did cocky funny as a Bumble and Tinder profile. The Tinder version's a little dirtier.
Nice.
I just put daddy issues is embedded in there, and tingles, like chasing tingles, and salt and pepper. I mentioned I get the daddy issues women with my salt and pepper and the crazy that I track. And I basically just threw that junk as my profile right there as let's get this out of the way. Everyone has baggage and you all have daddy issues that you are trying to work out with the older hot guy.
Yeah, you might as well. Yeah, you take one for the team. There you go.
Hey, Vince.
Cool. Yes.
One thing I did, because I had not been to New Jersey except driving through it until I went to the meetup that we had. One thing I liked was the historical markers, because obviously the further east you go in the country, the older the historical markers. There's some old stuff. There was 1780, this general was buried here, this thing happened in this town. And, it was the same era you were born in. So it was kind of wow, not only is the history, you could tell us about when New Jersey was a territory.
Yeah, pretty much.
Tell us when it was old Jersey.
When it was East and West Jersey, yeah.
Yeah, East and West Jersey. That's
No, it's north and south.
New Hampshire.
You got that Mason-Dixon line going up between the.
Sure. I got your Mason-Dixon line right here.
That's right, bastard.
Yeah. I got to talk to TJ, though, about this, because we were talking James Bond earlier today where he's wrong. And we have a bet.
You're beating off to Bond.
Well, TJ and I have a bet. We called in an arbiter, the great one over at Cynical Libertarian Society. And I'm correct because Goldfinger is the best James Bond movie. And then TJ was For Your Eyes Only, correct?
Correct.
And so
your memory's good.
I do remember. I just want to know how wrong you are that when the great one comes in and says, "Oh no, is this?" But we have $25, the "I'm So Sorry" song, and a Cowboy Bebop poster riding on this. So depending on what the great one rules, depending, of course, I'm going to win. And I got a nice little spot on the wall where I'm going to frame TJ's $25. And,
dude, I'm framing your $25.
But I did want to ask this about TJ. TJ, have you watched the old episodes of The Saint with Roger Moore before he was James Bond?
I have not, no.
That is something you guys want to talk masculinity and geekery. Everyone should watch the original version of The Saint with Roger Moore. It was black and white originally.
Oh, yeah.
And you can totally see how it's a shock even that George Lazenby was even considered to be James Bond, because they even allude to it in the show where it's like, "Oh, are you like that James Bond fella?" And he kind of winks at the camera. He breaks the fourth wall. So it was already like presumed he was going to become Bond, but then Lazenby took over, but then Moore came in anyway.
So that was actually something that Live and Let Die was Roger Moore's first Bond film. And they were saying, okay, there's two things you got to not do. You can't be like Sean Connery, and you can't be like Simon Temple from The Saint.
Right.
So he had to do this very weird. So he didn't smoke cigarettes, he smoked cigars. So if you watch Roger Moore's films, he doesn't smoke cigarettes, he smokes cigars.
Okay.
The other one is that wink. he couldn't do that in any of the films. They're like, everyone's going to see you as Simon Temple instead of James Bond. So, I kind of feel like when we're judging Bonds, one of the problems, and I know Rob's like, oh, beating off the Bond. Ah. Yeah, I get it.
What was that? What did you just do there?
That's what it is.
Some kind of weird hand motion.
Well, I'm just saying, like, with Roger Moore, he had a TV show. He had an image that he had to break. Sean Connery was kind of a nobody. Like, nobody knew who he was, right? He had done like a couple of Disney films, and that's about it. So he didn't have that image that he had to break away from, right? So when looking at Roger Moore's performances, that context is important because he could have done Sean Connery's Bond theoretically. He just chose not to do. He was told not to do so, right? He could have continued that. So part of what Roger Moore was trying to do was get away from both Sean Connery's image, but also his own image.
Simon Templar.
Yeah. So when people are looking at his, but also Roger Moore admitted, he goes, Bond is that guy who would walk into a bar in any part of the world, and everybody in that bar would know who he was. Right. So he's not going to be subtle. So he just figured, okay, he's a playboy. Like that's all. That's really what Bond is going to be for me. He just didn't see him as being like a guy who could go save the world and hook up with any girl. He's not going to be discreet, right? Spies don't look like Sean Connery. They look very nondescript.
No, he made that transition to a campy James Bond very well and made it his own. But knowing that about him, like they say, don't do this and don't do that. It's well, I don't know if you've ever seen the original Saint, but Simon Templar's character was in like perfectly James Bond-esque. So it's basically saying, don't be this really good looking, in shape playboy who can fight and shoot a gun and solve problems with his wits. It's like, be Spider-Man, but don't wear a blue and red outfit. And don't shoot spiders. It's like webs out of your wrist. It's like, okay, well, what do I do? So I bet he thread that needle very nicely then.
Hey, Doc.
Perodin in here?
Perodin is in here, yeah. Oh. That's right.
I'm pro Doc. I got his book right here.
Did you get it signed?
No, I don't think so. I've never met Doc. Oh no, he did sign it. Look at that.
Cool.
He signed it there, and he had like the Japanese anime. RJ, I think, drew that for him.
RJ is a great artist.
RJ is awesome.
We commissioned him to do the Masculine Geek header artwork.
Did I tell you that my Corona-chan image got taken down on Redbubble?
What?
Yes. Because it was inappropriate. Even though I marked it for mature audiences, they still took it down.
Really? Why? Did he actually give you any detail? It just said inappropriate?
Is it worth my time to send him an email and ask? It's one of these things where it's like, yeah, I don't care why. Fine. We could have
Cafe Press did to us, but I wanted to know why. I was like, you know what? You're going to work for this, motherfuckers. You explain to me why you did what you did.
But I just don't care. I am already kicking myself in the foot for idealistically and optimistically thinking that this would go off without a hitch. Like I could be wrong, but my remembrance of the 80s was like, you did something and the fucking machinery worked. There wasn't this much fucking fuck ups. There wasn't this much problems. There wasn't a fucking Nazi Gestapo approving committee to disapprove. It's like, oh, you want to make shirts of a flying dildo? Fine. Give us your money and here are your shirts with flying dildos on them. But now there's always a fucking Karen.
Yeah.
There's always some.
It's hard. It's really difficult to get around it.
Why? I mean, like that's Cappy. That's my mentality is that at everything that you rely on, like it's not Murphy's Law. It's Murphy's old grandpa's persnickety bastard old uncle version. What can go wrong will go wrong. So nothing will go right nowadays. I think that's part of the decline is that you can't just order shirts off the internet anymore.
No, you can't. Apparently, you can't. You can't.
Yeah.
And here's the word I was looking for: apparatchik. That's what this is. We got fucking private sector apparatchiks.
StellarShirts.com.
Yeah. What's that? Stellar
What was
Shirt-
that? What was that, Skeleton?
StellarShirts.com. But
I get nerd shirts off the internet, and I haven't really shopped for any in a long time, but I miss nerd shopping.
okay. Anyway, it's an apparatchik. There's some fucking thought police asshole at every state, or at least at every major intersection to do any kind of commerce now, especially if it's media. You have to get approval for what was the Bezonaise? It was in Dune. It was the female witches, and they yeah, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
But it's like, get the fuck out of my way and let me get some fucking. I mean, this is so petty and small. Where did they think it was worthwhile paying someone a salary? You say, oh, we can't have a PG-13 a Japanese anime pinup girl. I have, and I don't care to find out why. It's Karen. That's the answer. That's why.
Probably. And Drew makes a bit of a point too. We have to, I'll go further and say we as in whoever out there that has the resources, and maybe we need to come together and talk about this, but we need to start creating the things that we want to see. It's like writing a book you want to read. There needs to be these kind of things out there that don't have this kind of mechanism, political correctness mechanism behind it.
Right. And Amazon, thank God, has approved pretty much all of my books. They've been very libertarian and free speech, so I don't have a problem there. But it's what I guess depresses me is it's Redbubble. These are coffee mugs and fucking shirts, and there's someone hired there working for that company that's like, no, and like, oh, then how far is the infestation gone?
Hey, Vince. Speaking of books,
yes,
somebody's going to be releasing one soon.
Oh, really? Who's that? Now, go ahead, TJ. Plug your stuff.
All right. So, if you check the Twittersphere or my website, TJ Martin.
Do you have something to share? I'll share the screen.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the cover.
1 second.
Uh-oh. Rob and Skeleton are doing something weird back there.
Yeah, queers. All right. That is my new book that is coming out. Jack Napier, if you watch his stuff Red Evening on Friday nights with Rob, he is doing the narration for the audiobook, a sample of which is available soundcloud.com/TJ Martinell. That there is an actual location near where I live. So the Enchantments does exist.
Now, did you give your book artist like a photo for the mountains, or was that just out of this person's like imagination?
So so it's based on a photo. So that is what it's called, the temple. That's what it actually looks like. Like everything there is
the lake and everything, and
everything,
and
the
cool.
larch, the autumn larch. That is exactly what it looks like.
Is the guy there always?
Oh yeah, he's totally there.
Is Terry always like that?
That's actually TJ. He did put his.
Where's Reese? If you had Reese in it, you'd sell me on this book.
That would be that would be kind of cool if you had like an armored dog.
Armored dog.
God damn it!
So I actually have. I have 1 second. I'm gonna bring up another photo. So this is based off of. So this is Dragon Tail Peak, which I've actually hiked. So to give you an idea of the actual location.
What's the altitude? 9,000. It looks like.
It looks like something in Middle Earth.
It's seriously. It's around that, like 8,000, 8,500. So yeah.
Surprisingly not that high. I love how you still get snow because of all the moisture that comes off the Pacific. It's really cool to see the Cascades, even though they're not that tall of mountains, actually.
That is neat.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I hike real mountains unlike TJ. I got like 10,000 minimum, but it's just TJ doesn't want to do 5 figures,
That's funny.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gotta take up the dog. See? Yeah.
Oh, gonna be.
Reese's gonna come up here. He's gonna run around.
He's gonna lick everybody. See? Oh, they have their pants on. That's good.
He'll harass all the other hikers and not respect their social distancing. Yeah.
Yeah, bring back a redhead. See?
I like coloring books.
Hey, is anybody else happy that that pets are getting the disease now? I know you guys have cats. It's not you.
No,
you all
they
get-
are?
yeah, the animals, the pets are getting the disease now.
Maybe that's why Mowgli's snoring. He's wheezing and shit.
Oh, well, it'll probably be better. And did
He'll
he get
be
a?
right.
Did he get like a ventilator? A little.
I got him a little
Cat.
ventilator. Yeah.
Yeah.
I said- cat ventilator. I said, no, fuck you, Mowgli. You're gonna suffer through this, and you're gonna
There
power through it.
Right. And he lived to talk about it.
He is. Well, at least, yeah. He's
I
out
can't.
there.
Maybe shirts that says "I survived the coronavirus." You think that would that be a good idea? You think that would sell?
That's
Hang
awesome.
on, I'm gonna go make that. I'm gonna make
Okay.
that on my.
Do that now, quick. Hurry up.
Well, no, I'm too tired.
Oh,
I
see,
Well, then go do it
No,
yourself.
no, no,
Somebody,
no.
why do I
Look,
have
you-
to?
what are you tired from?
I'm tired from like going and putting it on and then like getting shot. Look, okay, let me ask you this, Vince. Do you want to go to nightclubs ever again and ask girls out for the phone number?
I never really did. I hated that.
Okay, you hated it, right? So, do you want to do it now? I hate going and saying, "Hey, I got this
No.
business idea." Oh, you know, like it's like, forget it.
I'm gonna screenshot that one too. That's right.
I did a rant, I think 1 or 2 days ago. You'll get some good faces there.
Awesome.
I found the perfect poster, Cowboy Bebop poster for when Aaron loses his bet.
Oh, really? Really? What was it? Put it in the chat room.
The chat room? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, just share it.
or share it. Yeah.
Share it out. Rah. You lazy fuck.
Ah. I'm watching you guys. It's funny.
Well, we're waiting for you.
I put it in the private chat. Nice.
Oh, private chat. Oh, private chat. Oh,
Yeah, stop being a queer, see?
Well, I'll get posters for Cowboy Bebop. Yeah. Spike Spiegel and the gang. Faye? I don't want the Faye. I don't want Faye Valentine.
I'm not giving you it. I know you want a picture
You
of
wanted Faye Valentine? She's so overrated.
what?
Yeah, Spike Spiegel. Jet and Spike are like way cooler than Faye Valentine. Like she's just poster.
Oh.
Let me a Spike Spiegel poster.
Well, I found a cool Spike Spiegel poster. That's if you win. I don't want a picture. Oh, you know, then if I had to choose, but I'd rather pick this poster.
What I would love to have is a poster. There's a picture. What?
Yeah, you'd love to have a picture of a naked guy with rum.
I posted one that's better. It's a black and white sepia version. If I'm going to have a poster, but the poster I would want, there's already a picture of it where they got the figurines of Spike Spiegel and he has his Ein Dog, but then there's a John Wick figurine the same size and he's got his pit bull or whatever. And they both got their guns pointed at one another. That I'd love to have an anime style poster of. That would be awesome to have that. But the image is up there. Someone took an actual photograph of it, but to have that turned into anime style would be one hell of a poster.
Yeah, see, I'm going to check it out. 1 second.
Actually, I'll show that image has got to be out there.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
How about this one? Put it in the private chat.
Spike Spiegel, John Wick figurines. Let me see if I can find the image. Oh, it's not. I'm surprised it's not one of the first ones. Yeah, it's not up there. It's really cool though.
So Rob and his partner have to discuss some disagreements.
All right, what are the disagreements?
Whoa, we lost. Oh, it had to happen. We lost Vince. Whoa, they
Oh,
dropped.
it's just us now. I bet Rob and him do have to deal with some things.
they lost their Vaseline.
So what was the point of this podcast? Was this just everyone's bored on a Saturday afternoon and that's why we got
Exactly.
together? Yeah.
We all got dumped the fuck out.
Yeah, I feel like you call me at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Well, that's your time. Me, it was like 8. Hey, you'd be proud of me. I went and I walked. I got my exercise in and I picked up my truck over at the shop I did some. I got some coffee, and then
You rub your girlfriend's feet.
no, I didn't rub the girlfriend's feet.
She should be rubbing your feet.
Yes, she should. Yes, but
But
she was sleeping, so I just went for a nice walk.
She doesn't have to be awake, dude.
Huh?
She doesn't have to be awake.
Yeah, I don't do the Quentin Tarantino foot fetish thing. I'm not not into feet. Not really. It's not my thing. It's
no.
boobs, yeah, but not feet. No.
Gotcha. So do you have her massage your boobs?
Yes, I have her massage my boobs. Vince. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
this is just a random for the hell of it. And we got a lot of viewers, which is nice.
That's good.
A lot of people hanging out in the chat, which is cool.
Dude, you know what I'm gonna do? Because I planted my garden for the first time in years. So when
I
I
saw
bought,
that you shared a photo. Yeah.
So when I bought the house, I have a huge. I mean, it's huge. It's almost as big as the wall that Trump never built. But it's been out there. I've never planted anything. It's just I've been yanking out the weeds and it got ugly. And I was like, and meanwhile, all of my neighbors around me are very agricultural minded. So they got these very meticulous gardens. They're planting all this stuff. It's like, I got to do something. Well, then now finally this crisis has inspired me to plant my own. So I planted my stuff and it was divinely inspired because it started raining as soon as I planted the seeds. But now I'm going to sit back and I need to go through G.I. Joe because they put that stuff up on YouTube.
What, the cartoon?
Yeah, they put which is like $100 to buy the DVDs.
Oh, I guess I'll watch that. I've been watching also on YouTube is a thing called 12 O'Clock High, the TV show.
I gotta watch that.
That's a good one. You especially since you like World War II and all that, TJ, you would love 12 O'Clock High. It's serious. I don't know if you've seen the movie with Gregory Peck, right?
Yeah, maximum effort.
Yeah.
But this is kind of the same thing. Like General Savage is the main character.
Cool.
And he does not give a shit. Like, you will not fall out of formation. I don't care if you are wounded. You will, and like none of this touchy feely. There's a little bit of drama and maybe there's a girl involved, but the tale is like when there's a nurse or some female involved. It's like, holy cow, look at that. I mean, it's like all pussy galore. No, this is made in the 50s.
Really?
Maybe even the late 40s. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
12 O'Clock High, the TV show, black and white, and then it turned to color. If I remember correctly, but it's just a good straight up no bullshit. People get killed, wounded. It's not all roses, and America always wins.
Where are you watching it on?
YouTube. It's free on YouTube.
Oh, nice, dude. I love when stuff is for free on YouTube. It's like we've got so many. Like, I want to see where Combat is, the TV show.
Yeah, that's on YouTube too, I think.
Dude, I totally have got to start watching Combat, like the first 2 seasons.
Before I knew any better, I had the audio to Combat, the intro. I had that for the Clary podcast.
Yeah.
And I totally ripped it off, and I had Davis Arini kind of the Clary podcast starring Aaron Clary. I
think I have some of those episodes.
Nice. Do you still add the Kelly's Heroes in the beginning of some of your stuff?
Yeah, I got that. I'm sure they're up there, but like everything else, you're like, no one's going to take this seriously. This isn't going to go. Anything I don't try at becomes successful. Anything I try at, like selling shirts, fails miserably.
Well,
so I had no idea. So I was like,
telling you something.
Yeah, I didn't think anyone's
plan
going to
plan accordingly.
Right. Yeah, I didn't think I'd ever have any success as podcasting. Just be this dumbass hobby, and who's going to care if I got like Layla Schifrin's.
Well, you're highly relatable. Whether you
I am
or not, you are.
Well, I mean,
very relatable.
Yeah.
There's an asshole curmudgeon in everybody.
Yes, that is true.
And you give like this passive permission for people to let it out. And they go,
Right.
oh, well, I see what he's talking about. I felt so. There you go.
I hate fat chicks too. I just can't. That's all I do is work with fat chicks. Yeah,
exactly.
Dude, I think, especially for like
Wait, I've heard this before. Hang on a second, TJ. A safety doc just brought this up. What is this? What is this $silver bikini?
You've
thing?
never heard of this?
No. I've heard of it. I don't know the detail.
TJ, explain it to him so he knows I'm not bullshitting.
So it was where...
I'm not saying you're bullshitting.
No. It's because it's so absurd. People would think I'm crazy. But go on.
So it was like a striptease style bikini where the silver dollars would cover basic areas of the female body, and he sold that, and, and the only people to buy it were from like Saudi Arabia.
Right. Yeah. The only guys. Yeah.
All these alpha conservative guys didn't buy one for their wives.
Nope. Not a single one.
My wife would be offended. It's like, okay.
It was the funnest way to diversify into silver, and all these guys are talking. This like this is like 7, 8, 9 years ago, where all these guys like, yeah, I'm traditional and alpha. I'm like, oh, okay, we'll get this for your wife. Now, one guy who is talking the game about being alpha, bought it. It was not all, but disproportionately Middle Eastern dudes who bought it, and a couple other legit. Yeah, but it was seriously one of the hardest things I ever did, because I had to design it as one size fits all, and women's bodies are different in more ways than you could possibly imagine, because like all boobs are different and height and all this. So it was highly adjustable, and it would work. But that took me a good week of like designing and cutting and like soldering and all this other shit. And I finally got it to work. I did make money on it, but it wasn't worth the time. But yeah, that was one of my failures in life with $Silver Bikini.
I mean, that and not being 5'9".
One thing I controlled that was a failure in life.
No, yeah, it's like the older I get, the more I read some of your stuff that's more depressing. I'm like, yeah, he had a point. He's right.
I'm right. Yeah, I'm right.
He's talking about like I have one of your essay bookmarked. That's one of my favorites is the crushing and depressing reality of our team.
Yes. That
was like, I've got some of your stuff bookmarked. It's like, that is where it's like, I got to remind myself, yes, it is that bad.
It is
Most
bad.
men out there are that bad.
Yes.
Like, it's okay to not have a whole lot of men that you can associate with, because they seem cool, and then you want to hang out with them, and they go, duh, I gotta ask the wife, I gotta ask the boss, and then they go and talk about how they're alpha or how they're how
right.
They can't wipe their nose without talking to their wifey.
Right. The number of posers out there is, especially and this was early on, but when it was new and you just like didn't know these people on the internet, you assumed an intellectual honesty on the part of people like, oh yeah, they're alpha. Then you meet them and they're just like these perma-virgin, ugly, like, dude, you missing some chromosomes or something, man.
Yeah, that like, blows my mind. Like, I didn't realize this, but when I was originally on the internet, I didn't pretend like I'm not bragging. It's like part of it was it's a detriment, but like, I assumed that everyone else was being honest. And so like, it's refreshing to meet people like you, Vince, Rob, and all these other guys that we know through the band space. Like, they are who they say they are, right? They are, you meet them and they have whatever flaws and all, what you're dealing with it, as opposed to these guys who pretend to be these, they
players or alpha or rich dude. Yeah, no, I've seen enough of those come and go. And then I'm like, how, I've met these people and they're nice, friendly people. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, dude, you live in a trailer park. You don't live this ghetto life or, gangsta lifestyle like you pose on the internet. You're not a player. Yeah. No girl would touch you. I mean, you're obese. You're not, and especially when you never saw a picture of them. That was, then you meet him and you're expecting to see like some 6'7" guy, and you meet this guy who's fatter than me but shorter than me, and you're like, what the fuck? How do people follow you? Like you're a hypocrite. So
I get that the whole sometimes the anonymity based on what you work or what you do. I get that, but sometimes it's like you need proof of purchase.
Right.
It's like a priest giving a fucking sex talk. I mean, I'm not gonna listen to you. It's just we talked about this before. It's like doctors and nurses who are obese and they're going to give me advice on my health.
Right.
No, the fuck out of here.
Well, I know it's minor, but it's accreditation, I think. But like TJ, when I went on a hike with you that one time about that, did I keep up?
Yeah, dude, you doing well. Like,
yeah, I mean, I take pictures of me on top of mountains not because, I like to, it's like, yeah, I do this. And when I ride my motorcycle, I come through on the motorcycle. Well, I even came out, remember, like we're in DC. I came out on my bike that time.
You were in Silver Springs, yeah.
Right.
That's the crazy thing is like, that's why I post a lot of stuff that I do. Because I'm no longer just doing my own thing. I'm on Masculine Geek and I'm also an author, whatever, but I've also created an image through my own podcast where I'm a guy who goes outdoors. Well, as much as you post photos and stuff like that, and people will say, "Well, you're just doing that, whatever." You have to prove to people that you are who you say you are. You can't just talk the talk. You got to show.
Not anymore. No.
You got
to show proof of purchase. You need a receipt.
You need to show that you actually do this stuff, and so I think that's part of the to use a very cliche term, the burden of performance for guys like us, which I think is actually a good thing because it guards us against pretending to be something that we're not, right? It's very hard for guys like ourselves to, when you're doing an anonymous account, you can say whatever you want, pretend whatever you want, say whatever you want. People can't hear your tone. They can't see your body language. They can't see anything. You can't lie in real life. You can't lie on a live stream. They can look at your body language and tell if you're a fake, if you're a poser. They can tell if you're actually just a autistic spurg. Yeah,
Spurgs. What was that song there, Aaron? That was pretty funny.
Yeah, we can tell. Guys can spot.
That was one of your post-nap
tirades. Yes,
tirades. You wake up, hair all disheveled, and you start singing.
Yeah, I think that's actually what. If anything's going to kill anonymity on the internet in like voluntarily, it's going to be because guys are going to say, I see you talking a lot of shit. I want to see actual. Yeah, you're talking a lot of shit.
Talking a lot of shit, see?
We want to see actual proof that you are who you say you are. And if you're not going to show us proof, then we don't want to hear it, right? Like they don't. Now, there's some people who are always going to have to hide behind for reasons because they want to talk about stuff that would get them in trouble.
Sure. No, I understand that much. Yeah.
I get that. Like I wouldn't expect the great one himself to come out of the shadows. And I don't blame him. But for guys like myself and Vince, whatever, I think that it's a benefit to us to not have that luxury of hiding behind a fake image, right, or an image where, but I don't know. It's almost like eventually the truth comes out. The truth comes away.
Well, listen, guys, I gotta get going because I got dinner plans. So,
all right, enjoy.
I gotta call in with the wife. I gotta check.
Absolutely, go do your check-in.
But thanks for having me on the show, and I have been plugging you on my show.
Gotcha.
Like more regular than just Masculine Geek. It's an old grumpy guy from Salt Lake, an old grumpy guy from New Jersey, and they're gay comrade from Seattle. So I do a
gay comrade from Seattle.
Right.
That's funny. All right. Thanks for coming on, Aaron. Catch you later.
Right, yeah, man.
Jesus. Oh my God, that's pretty funny.
Oh my God. Okay, if you had to pick between these two posters that I posted and Cappy in the private chat for those listening.
Oh yeah.
Which one?
What happened to Rob and his lover? They have some technical difficulties they're working out, so you just get us for now.
The dildo stopped working.
They ran they got to run out for batteries. They don't have one of those power drivers. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Bacon.
Thanks, Bacon.
Bacon, see? Oh,
yeah.
Jesus has left the building.
Yeah, Rob. No, Vince. Sorry. So what kind of are you working on? Any writing projects right now?
Well, just trying to get the masculine beak. The Masculine Beak book. The Masculine Beak. Oh, beak. The Masculine Geek book compiled and getting together, and then finishing up a few more of my own chapters. It's looking like it's going to be about, I think, like 75 or 80 pages so far. I moved that should be fine. I mean, I moved it over to the my writing editor, Noveler.
Yeah.
And then I can break it down by chapters, and I can put little notes and stuff and whatnot. So,
Yeah.
But that's one of the things I've been working on, and just trying to get through some books, doing more research on our communist podcast.
Yeah, dude, I need to start working. I've done a lot of research in the past. I did an essay in college about all this stuff, so I almost need to revisit my research.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just have some notes and just it's something I can follow along as we're talking. What will the book be about? It's a secret. We're not giving anything away. We will probably release a chapter or two just as a teaser. It's about being a masculine geek, what it's like being a masculine geek, examples, subject matter that you read, essays and articles that you've read on the Masculine Geek website, topics we cover in the newsletter, we expound on, we go deeper into. So,
yeah. We also talk about, what's it, business? Russell, I will be visiting the East Coast. It's just a question of when. I wouldn't be opposed to visiting during the Thanksgiving period, frankly. So, we'll see what happens. As soon as the flights, as soon as everything kind of calms down, I'm going to book my flight.
Be dirt cheap too.
Yeah, it'll be dirt cheap, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but speaking of that, we're rescheduling the Village by the Lake for probably mid to late September. And I've gotten a few questions as far as the Village by the Lake, as far as like who that's open to. All those trips are essentially Rob and I and TJ meeting up, but we have meetups wherever we go. Like when TJ and Rob came out to New Jersey, we had a meetup in Atlantic City. So we'll have a meetup in Salt Lake City as well. So, but we'll go ahead and we'll announce that.
Right.
Indeed. So what are you working on next, TJ? Are you taking a break for a while?
I'm proofreading the Sonic Wolfgar, and I'm going to approve it tomorrow for pre-ordering. So on Monday, it should be available for people who want to read it. Part of me, I don't know, I'm kind of at a weird spot where it's kind of hard to contextualize for people who are listening, but there's all this stuff I've always wanted to do in life, and I just haven't done it. And I'm getting to the point where it's like I'm done saying let's wait for a better time,
Yeah.
Yes, The Tempest. That is a reference to the Chris Cornell song. So good catch. So I don't know, there's these hikes I've wanted to go on, these places I've wanted to visit. We were talking in this podcast about exploring areas. And there's a lot of areas in my state where I've always looked at and just never gone to. And so
Safety Doc and I talked about that. Just learn about your state.
Yeah.
Learn the history. Go travel to different places. On the weekend, just go randomly. Whether you have a motorcycle, I'll do that. Ride the motorcycle. Hop in your vehicle. Just wander. Get yourself as lost as you can be with modern technology. But go visit places. Go on Google and check out your state and look at interesting places and say, I want to go there. I mean, if you have that kind of adventuresome spirit, which as a man, every man has an adventurous spirit, whether it's been crushed down through life or whatnot. But
the other
revive that.
Yeah. The other thing is I've always there's all these games I've wanted to play with a big group, like Bang, Settlers of Catan, and I've done it in the past, but I just haven't done it in years. I haven't done it in a long time because of just moving around and all that sort of stuff. So, with all the social isolation stuff, I kind of miss that where you get together with a bunch of buddies, you got beers, you got your food, you got a board game, you're just having fun, and just all the worries in the world have gone. That's what it was like when I was back from college. during the winter holiday season, we'd get together, we'd have a couple of beers, we'd play Settlers of Catan or Bang or Monopoly, and just the worries of the world went away. Like you just you didn't worry about like stuff like, where am I going to get a job and how am I going to buy a house and all that stuff, like stuff that kind of is more on my mind now than it used to be.
Well, it's sort of what Red Crusader was saying in his. By the way, everyone, Red Crusader has a YouTube channel. He's doing his own little short takes, little philosophical sort of stuff. Go check that out. Red, put up your a link to your new YouTube page, and he was talking about time and sort of what you're mentioning now too.
Yeah, it's like just being able to do that stuff where. I think, the phrase youth is wasted on the young, in a sense, that's true. And I think the biggest part is they're not told what life is really going to be like. But again, if adults tried to tell me what life was going to be like back then, the boomers.
You never listened, no.
Well, no, I was the one who would have listened, but I was the one who did listen. They just gave very inaccurate information, right? It's not like where they say, because the world that I grew up in doesn't exist anymore. And maybe it was a unique situation, but that's fine. But we're now at a point where I don't know what's like on the East Coast. I don't know if it's just circumstantial, but I'd say for 90% of my life, I have not known my neighbors. Right. Whereas I know some people who their next door neighbors were like their closest family friends. Right.
Yeah.
So, I think that really, like, when the people live in close proximity to you, you don't really know. If there was one thing I would change in life, and this isn't a complaint about my current neighbors, they're fine. Like my neighborhood's fine, but like if there was one thing I could change, it would have the people I know best and get along with best and want to hang out with most live next door to me. Now, whether that's here or somewhere else, you can live in the worst state in the country, but if your next door neighbor is your best friend, that changes everything. You just go next door and go talk to them. You got a problem, they can help you out with it. You got a project to work on, they can help you out. They're not like 3,000 miles away. They're not 300 miles away. They're not 30 miles away, right? So I think that's the true casualty of what's going on.
No, that's true.
And doing stuff online doesn't necessarily, I can do strategic online with a buddy of mine. It's not the same as having him in the same house.
No, we talked about it with Dungeons & Dragons or any kind of tabletop role-playing game. The best is having your buddies around the table and the camaraderie and the being able to do that. That's what it's all about. Yeah, this is great. This is Plan B. Playing Dungeons & Dragons online or any other tabletop game, if you can, is Plan B. It's better than not having it. But if you can get guys around the table to do your thing, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, I think that for a lot of men, if they had 5 very close friends in the same area as them, a lot of problems in our lives would go away. We just wouldn't care about the problems of the world. It's like, who gives a shit? We've got 5 good friends in my neighborhood. Like, we've got each other's back, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, and that's it. I mean, you're what they call the circle of empathy. That's sort of a bit of a silly word, but that's the terminology for it. In taking care of your circle of empathy, your circle of brothers.
Right.
So, take care of yourselves.
Yeah.
Oh. So when does the audiobook for your book is complete? Correct.
It is complete. It will be coming out on the 4th because.
On the 4th. Okay.
Audible will not allow me to even work on it until the book's published.
I guess that makes sense. I mean, I don't know.
A little weird.
Yeah, I released my ebook first, and then a couple months later,
Yeah.
the paperback and then the audio.
Yeah,
I probably won't do an audio for the second and the rest of the series, which I actually started the third book.
I've only done audio for one book, and this was this one because I actually wrote it as an audiobook. Like, I wrote it as a book that was going to be spoken aloud. And yes, people buy, if you want to buy the Kindle version. But I wrote it as a book that is something that would be recited out loud. And so when I hired Jack to do the audio book version, you know,
I did listen to some samples.
Yeah.
He's got, his voice is perfect for it.
Oh, it was almost providential because I was sitting there thinking, who is going to narrate this book? Because I had a specific voice in mind. And then I met Jack through, you know, God,
Phil, Bert, and Ernie. They're having some, they might. I don't want to run too much over 2 hours. Maybe we'll broadcast again later tonight, and definitely tomorrow again. They're having some technical difficulties, so they may or may not be back on. But that's pretty funny, Bert and Ernie. I didn't think about that. That's pretty funny.
how do we Jack again? I did an episode with him on James Bond, but I was like talking to him. Oh, that because he was hiding. He was hiding behind his avatar for a while. I was thinking, I thought he was like a 50-year-old Scotsman.
I know he does have that. His elocution is very. It's almost like listening to Tom Torero. You ever listen to Tom Torero on YouTube?
Yeah.
He sounds like an 80-year-old English dude. He's not. He's like in his late 30s, early 40s, but he just sounds like.
I'm listening to this guy being interviewed. I think it was with I can't remember who it was, but then he asked me to come on his show, and I come on his show, and then I see who he actually was. It was like, holy crap, this guy's half the age I was expecting. He's younger than me.
Yeah,
and he's
Didn't he unveil himself on Masculine Geek? I think he did.
I think he did, yeah. But I was thinking, I was listening to him talk when we were doing the James Bond episode, and I was like, thinking half the time, dude, this is the voice of this book I want to do. Like, I need to get, I want to narrate. So I ended up having him do it, and I was like, I've had numerous people who I've given a copy to of the audiobook. They're like, this is amazing. This guy did a fantastic job. So, you know, tell the truth. Exactly. No, I have one guy I sent it to. This dude, the guy never calls me, right? He doesn't just call up, right? He'll send an email, he'll text. That's the way he communicates. He called me up to tell me how much he liked the book, right? And this was the audiobook, and he said like the whole thing was perfect. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited for this book release. I think that you know, there's going to be the Kindle version for people who want to read it on Kindle. I'm going to do the physical copy when you know, everything calms down and we figure all that stuff out, because I want the physical copy to be done right. But then the audiobook will be released in a shortly after the Kindle version. But you know, I think it's get both, you know, if you can.
Absolutely. I just recently purchased a Kindle.
Oh.
Yeah, I went
I've
ahead.
been always for getting a flat screen finally.
Yeah. Well, the problem is there are a lot of books that I do want the physical copy. I want to have it in my hand, and I do buy those. And there are some that I know that I don't want. Not that I don't want to read the book, but I don't need the physical copy. It's going to be a waste. It's going to sit around, collect dust, and that is the problem. I mean, how many books could you conceivably have if you just like? Because that's my one addiction, as it were. If someone said, "Hey, Vince, do you have an addiction?" I read too much, such as it is. So, like, all right, well, this is good, especially with doing traveling. This is perfect. You could have thousands of books on this little unit, and then you take it with you when you travel, which is kind of cool. So,
yeah,
see,
you're one addiction.
My one addiction, yes.
Drinks red wine for the 15,000th time.
Well, this is. I've had this all week. I mean, this is a bottle I've just been sipping from.
This was like a couple days ago.
Jesus, you This quarantine shelter in place is turning us all into rampant alcoholics.
Oh, well, you know what's crazy is I was drinking some of this
Show that to the what is that?
Rebel Yell.
Rebel Yell. Cool.
It's good. So I was drinking this. I was drinking some local red wine, and I stayed up till, I'm not exaggerating, guys. I stayed up till 1:00 in this morning watching Home Improvement. I wake up at 6:00 in the morning and feel amazing. That's why when Aaron Clary called, I like was totally awake, and I just called him up and he goes,
What time did he call you?
Call me at 6 a.m. like on the dot.
And then I guess he made a comment that he was gonna call me next.
Yeah, and he was gonna ask me like,
Fucking cock.
Yeah, so I'm talking to him. I'm like,
I ignored it. I write the voicemail. No.
That's why when I picked up, I go, oh, well, you know, like I sounded in a good mood. He goes, TJ, you're awake. It's like, yeah, I don't know why. I've only gotten like 5 hours of sleep, but I feel amazing.
So you've been up since 5 a.m.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's some nights it's crazy. There's some nights this week I went to bed at like 9 a.m. or not 9 a.m.
9 p.m.
I went to bed at 9 p.m. because I felt so tired. And what's funny is like one professor at my university years ago did a lecture on sleep, and he said it's like a credit card, right? So the day's events may not be what affects your sleep that night. It may be the effects of prior nights. So
it's cumulative.
Yeah, that's kind of what he was saying. And he goes, it's a balance that you have to pay off, right? So if you've been getting great sleep for a month and you have one bad night, that's not going to affect you. But if you have an entire month of bad nights and you get one night worth of sleep, you're still going to wake up feeling like crap the next morning.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair to say.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we're gonna say, you're gonna like it.
I gotta like it, Sam. No, I slept in late. I woke around 11 a.m.
I know you were like, I'm not gonna wake up. It's like he called you at 11.
He called me about quarter of. It's like 10:48 or something like that. 10:45. I was like, no, right to voicemail.
Oh no. Yeah, it's funny. It was funny because he called me earlier this week, and I was like, oh, I was on the phone with another person, so I call him up back, and he doesn't answer. I call him again, he doesn't answer. I'm like, Cappy, answer your phone. I'm like, what's the problem? So,
well, to be fair, Carl, I went to bed late. So it was after 2 a.m. when I finally hit the sack. So I didn't get that much sleep.
Yeah.
I would say I got about 7 hours.
What's crazy is most days, like when I go to bed at 9 or 10, I wake up and roll out of bed at like 8. So then I can go have some bacon and eggs before I actually start work. But
there you go.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice waking up at 6. I got the gardening done. I got all the seeding done. I got all the yard work done, and then it was 9:30. I was like, "Wow, what else am I gonna do with the rest of the day?" Oh,
there you go. Wait, what are you drinking now?
This is a Guinness.
Oh, okay.
The original thing I was drinking was a Imperial Oatmeal Stout.
Oh, all right.
So
stouts are good, and Guinness is one of my favorites.
Yeah, before that it was the Rebel Yell.
But
there
you go.
There wasn't much left in that.
Fell asleep at 10 a.m. on the sofa. Go to I'm not good about it. That is a bit of a off balance sleep schedule, but I don't know if you're feeling refreshed.
Yeah, I'd say that part of it is hydration. Hydration's huge. 2, eating right. Like I'm starting. I'm starting to reincorporate salads into my diet. I used to not eat like vegetables a whole lot, like potatoes mainly. My I have a relative whose fiance looked at my food supply and said, "You're gonna get the gout at like age 40."
Gout.
Yeah, like I just because all I had was meat. That's all I had. I was just eating pork and bacon and all that other stuff.
Yeah. What's because I know I almost every day I'm intermittent fasting just because I for the most part don't eat at breakfast, and if I do eat breakfast, it's later. It's after in the afternoon. So
Wow, I actually have it's varied over the years. Right now, I eat bacon with I typically eat 4 eggs for breakfast. Sometimes if I'm not feeling it, I'll only have 2. I used to eat bacon. I used to eat eggs. I basically eat eggs no matter what for the most part. Like eggs is a staple. Sometimes I'll have sausage, like sausage links. Sometimes I'll have bacon with coffee. I used to eat it with toast. I've eliminated the toast out of my eating, but I used to eat a pretty big breakfast. But I can go either way. If I want to have a big breakfast, I will. If I want to eat kind of light, I will. Usually it's lunch that I skimp out on, and then I tend to eat dinner like pretty big.
yeah, lunch and dinner are pretty big. I do take a few supplements.
Supplements. I take some supplements.
Supplements.
They come in glass bottles and.
No, you know what I'm talking about. You, Jesus.
You darn are.
So Red Crusader says he has a cool. Here you go. He wants to know if you can access right now your social media. Way to derail everything, Red.
Can you access social media? What does that mean?
So you can see it if you have access to your social media at this moment. He'll show it to you.
I'm on my Twitter sphere.
Twitter. Go DM TJ through his Twitter. Yeah, I do fish oil as well, Red. Fish oil, vitamin D. I take a cap. You're talking about fiber. I'll do psyllium husk seed a couple times a week. What else? Zinc, a zinc citrate. That's pretty much it.
I have redheads coming to visit me.
I have redhead. That's one of the better. That's one of the better supplements. Yes. It's always a good time. Turmeric. Yeah, I heard turmeric's really good. It's supposed to be good for you, like one of those superfood type things. Apple cider vinegar pills. Okay. Apple cider is actually very good for getting rid of like skin issues. Like if you have like athlete's foot, or you have what's that, like psoriasis. That stuff really works. I had athlete's foot as a kid really bad. And one of the things that cleared it up was apple cider vinegar, just bathing your feet in it.
So I'm looking at Red Crusaders. Oh, dude, that is cool. I'm gonna share it. 1 second. What?
Shit.
I'm gonna save it as a photo. So then I'm not sharing my Twitter sphere.
Well, if you just share your message, it won't show anything else but that photo. If you open the photo in Twitter and just share that.
Yeah, we're gonna share this. 1 second. There I go.
What are you doing?
What? Continue.
That's what she said, Carl.
What did Carl say? What the hell?
What are you doing over there in the Pacific Northwest?
Me? I'm trying to figure out where this freaking photo went.
Just open it up in your email. Save it to your desktop, open it up in a photo viewer, and just share the application.
Oh, it said it failed. No photo. What? Dirty heart.
Red Crusaders sending out viruses.
I know. What the flip, kid?
Dirty whore.
Oh, there we go. We finally had one. Sorry, folks. What? What? You dirty rat.
Send it to my Twitter, Red, because apparently TJ's having some technical
Dirty
difficulties.
whores.
Rah.
Oh, there we go. There we go. That's not exactly the photo I had in mind, but
Jesus Christ. Naked
Yeah.
photos of Rob. You sharing out, trying to share out naked photos of Rob again?
don't look at me. You've got it. Okay, I'm not going to destroy my laptop.
What?
It's not my fault. Thank you, Twittersphere, you twat.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's frustrated too.
Rah.
So have you made your own bread, Vince?
It's been a while, but yes.
I was trying to make my own bread, but apparently all the yeast at the store was bought out.
Oh, cool. Is that that looks like a gas mask bag? I have a replica one, an Indiana Jones one. And here's a bit of trivia. The one that Indiana Jones uses in the first one is a Mark 5 or 6 Russian gas mask bag from World War II. So he's actually using it in the wrong timeline.
Whoa. Which movie? You're talking about
The
TV?
first one, the first Indiana Jones movie, he's using a that satchel that he has as a World War II Russian gas mask bag.
Ah,
I have the replica.
wow.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, let me share this fucking shit out.
You have the Holy Grail?
Rah. I don't know about that one. It could be a different one. I'm not sure. But I know in the first one, that's what that is.
Well, fortunately, I remembered my Charlemagne. That is cool. It's got the G.I. Joe thing on the side.
There you go. That's a cool table too. That wooden table. I love those rustic looking wooden tables. Looks like it has a marble inlay to it. All right. So on that silence, it is now the 2 hour and 4 minute mark. Chicks love the gas masks. Well, some do. I'll have to post some pictures later of some of my my submissives with the Russian gas mask that I have. I have a gray one and a black one, and various poses. But you're gonna have to go join the Masculine Geek BDSM Patreon to get that access to that shit. So, anyway, all right. So, everyone, thank you for joining us on this Masculine Geek random Saturday Rogue broadcast. We may, don't get your panties all wet. We may do another one later tonight. Bring back Rob. We'll see. We may do another one later tonight, round 2.
May happen.
It may happen, and we may. It probably will, and I say may just in case. We'll probably do another one tomorrow. So, until then, until later tonight and or tomorrow, keep the fires burning, keep moving forward, and do not let the bastards wear you down. So, enjoy your evenings, gentlemen.